This conference will now be recorded.
अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् रागादिरोगान् सततानुषक्तान् अशेषकायप्रसृतान् अशेषान् औत्सुक्यमोहारदिदान् जघान यो पूर्ववैद्याय नमोऽस्तु तस्मै. So in our last session, we discussed ojas in detail. Many aspects of ojas we discussed. There may be many other things which can be added to what we already discussed. It is a vast topic. And one idea that we were trying to highlight was that it is the sum total of all the activities of Agni which is happening inside and which is getting reflected as the quality sampannata of Shleshma. And it has got many functions to do. It is very crucial in the relationship between the Sharira and Atma. Atma, when I say Atma, it is Atma with Manas. And when I say Sharira, Sharira with Indriya. So that way, this quality of Ojas is very crucial in keeping the Sharira, Indriya, Atma, Mana Samyoga. Sharira, Indriya, Sattva, Atma Samyoga. So to keep that Samyogam intact and make it the best, you need the support of Ojas. And it is very crucial in the functional status of so-called buddhi, consciousness, or whatever it is. Consciousness is not just about being a state of not unconscious. Consciousness is not just a state of not being unconscious or not unconscious, but it is something about the capacity to engage with the artha of the manas. Artha of the manas, chindyam, vicharyam, uhyam, dhyayam, sankalpyam. All these things are the arthas of manas. In Charaka Samhita, at one point, I think it is in the chapter called Indriyopakramaniyam, there is a statement like mana, manorthaha, buddhi, atma, cha idi Adhyatma Dravya Guna Sangraha. So those four aspects, Mana, Manortha, Buddhi, Atma cha, iti Adhyatma Dravya Guna Sangraha. So those four aspects together is very crucial in the engagement of the person with these objects of chinta, vicharam, uham, dhyanam, sankalpam, all these things. So that uh, unit of Adhyatma Dravya Guna Sangraha, Manaha, Manortha, Buddhi, Atma, that may be the point which corresponds to the word consciousness. So it is not just about being not unconscious. That is very, very important. So, in keeping this unit functional in a body which is jada, the body as such is jada, panchabhautika, a mass of five bhutas. So it is into this uh, panchabhautika pinda that the consciousness, the adhyatma dravya guna sangraha, maybe I do not mean that they are the exact counterparts in Indian thought or Ayurvedic thought for the word consciousness, but still you can find that as reflecting the concept of consciousness in its true sense. So it is into the Jada Panchabhaudika Sharira that this Adhyatma Dravya Guna Sangraha is attached to make it Sachetanam and Satnanam. For indicating the Chetana, we know that we just need the presence of a working Indriya. But Sachetanatvam and Satnanatvam, there are some differences. So, in order to make the consciousness operate in the Jada Sharira, so first it makes it Chaitanyavat and then Jnanavat. For this operation to happen, Ojas is essential. That is very important. And so Ojas has got an extension which is purely Bhautika, whereas it is the essential component to make the consciousness functional in the body, in the being. So that understanding is very important. So one important idea again related to this preliminary idea is that ojas can be nourished with the help or with the uh, utility of the panchabhutika components of the being. Parallel to that, ojas can be nourished from the side of the adhyatma dravya guna sangraha as well, from the consciousness part as well. That is very important. Ojas can be nourished. Unlike dosha, dhatu or mala, ojas shall be nourished unconditionally. There is no limit to which the principle called ojas can be nourished. So, dosha vriddhi is a vikriti, dhadu vriddhi is a vikriti, mala vriddhi is a vikriti, but ojo vriddhi is not a vikriti. Ojo vriddhi represents how far the being is blessed, positively blessed, anugrinhati, from the components of the sharira and the components of consciousness, avabodha or jnana. So there is no limit to which ojas can be increased, enhanced. And when there is a problem with the plane of consciousness, there is a problem with the nourishment of ojas. When there is a problem with the panchabhaudika components of the sharira, primarily uh, primarily determined by principles like dosha, dhatu, mala, and a modified version of the functional totality, which is known as Agni. So, a problem with that component can also uh, affect the nourishment of ojas. So, this idea also should be there with us. With that, we find the next shloka. We find oja kshiyeta kopakshudhyana shramadibihi. Oja kshiyeta kopakshudhyana shramadibihi. So, ojas can uh, go through a stage of kshaya. So, it can be either because of over consumption or because of under nourishment. And these factors, kopa, chut, dhyana, shoga, shrama, adibhi, that adi can go further, like adivyayama, jagarana, krodha, many other things which can be added to this list of negative emotions and negative uh, events. So all these situations of kopadi consumes ojas in excess, and also they affect the nourishment of ojas from both levels, like shramam, vyayamam, jagaranam. All those things will be causing problem with the nourishment of ojas from the dhatu level, whereas kopam, dhyanam, shogam, krodham, such emotions will be affecting the nourishment of ojas from the level of consciousness or emotion or psychological plane or manasika bhava, like that. So this is very important. Actually, this line, that the causes of uh, depletion of ojas, that gives us a better idea about what this principle called ojas really is. Oja kshiyeda kopa chut dhyana shoga shramadibhi. Then we find the lakshanas of that ojakshina avastha or ojakshaya avastha. Bibhedi, durbalah, abhikshnam dhyayadi, vyadhitendriya, duchchayo, durmana, rukshah, bhaved kshamascha talkshaye. Bibhedi, durbalo abhikshnam dhyayadi, durbalo abhikshnam dhyayadi, vyadhitendriyah, duchchayah, durmana, rukshah, bhaved kshamascha tal kshaye. So tal kshaye, tasya kshaye, oja kshaye, ojasah kshaye, abhikshnam durbalah bibhedi. Abhikshnam shows an extreme level. Durbalah, extreme level of that daurbalyam, exhaustion, weakness, fatigue. So here the word used is balam, durbala. So that balam, I think we have already discussed that. This balam is a word which we find in some situations as synonymous with uh, ojas. Say for example, you take the observation on documentation of Acharya Sushruta. Tatra rasadinam shuklandanam dhadunam yat param tejaha tad ghalu ojaha tadeva balam iti uchyade swashastra siddhantad. So balam, I think we discussed it. Balam is not the exact uh, or the same thing as ojas, but balam is the product or outcome, karyam of effect of ojas. So when there is ojakshaya, obviously there will be balakshaya. And that is what we find here. Abhikshnam durbalaha. And that daurbalyam, whatever the cause is, will have reflections in both sides of existence. That means the physical and the other one, the psychological or emotional or cognitive or whatever it is. It will have reflections on both sides. So here, tat kshaye abhikshnam durbalaha bibhedi. Bibhedi. Bibhedi means get frightened, fear, unexplainable fear. So when ojakshaya sets in, there is severe daurbalyam, and as a result, bibhedi, feeling fearful for no explainable reason. Then dhyayati vyadhitendriyah. Vyadhitendriyah dhyayati. Vyadhitendriyah. Indriyah, here you can take it as the jnanendriyas. Vyadhitam, badhitam, pididam. So those indriyas which are stressed because of poor performing capacity, as there is lack of support from the side of manas. We have seen this at one point in Charaka Samhita. We find this. Sadi hyatmendriyarthanam sannikarshe na vartade vaivrityan manaso jnanam. So that actually is a state of when the manas is not supporting, there is a problem with the perception of indriyarthas, and that puts obviously a lot of stress with the indriyas as well. And here, out of that vyatha from the level of indriyas, the person involved goes through a stage of dhyana. Dhyanam is a sort of adichintanam. Adichintanam, again, which is unexplainable for no reason. dhyayati vyadhitendriyah. Then duchayah, he becomes duchayah. Chaya, everyone knows the uh, principle which shows the uh, dhatu shuddhi to some level, which is appreciated from outside visually, which is visually appreciated by somebody outside. So that chaya is becoming dushta, dushta chaya, duchaya. So there is a compromise in that chaya. Durmana, there is a uh, state of durmanastvam. Durmanastvam is a state of disturbed mental activities wherein the person feels no hopes. Everything appears to be on the darker side of reality or existence. We have heard of another term called Saumanasyam. So this is the exact opposite of Saumanasyam. Here it is Daurmanasyam. If Saumanasyam is mindfulness, I think we can find three words together to express the Saumanasyam: ardent, alert, and mindful. It is ardent, alert, and mindful. That is Saumanasya. Opposite of that ardent, alert, and mindfulness is called Daurmanasya or Durmana. So when there is a fall in the ojas, the individual go through a stage of lack of that ardent, alert, mindful existence. Also, rukshata sets in, which shows a generalized decrease, deprival in the soma bhava of the sharira, saumyata of the sharira, which is manifested as generalized rukshata. And bhaved kshamaha cha. Kshamaha is again a feeling which can be perceived by somebody else. The person involved is already in a stage of that tiredness or exhaustion, which we have seen by the word durbala, and that klamam, that daurbalyam, that rukshata, that daurmanasyam, duchayata, all these things will be appreciated by somebody else as a generalized kshamata. The person looks as having this stage of kshamata. So bibhedi durbalo abhikshnam dhyayadi vyadhitendriyaha duchhayo durmana ruksho bhaved kshamascha talkshaye ojakshiyeda कोपक्षुध्यानशोक श्रमादिभिः बिभेति दुर्बलो अभीक्ष्णं ध्यायति व्यथितेन्द्रियः दुच्छायो दुर्मना रूक्षो भवेद् क्षामश्च तल्क्षये. This stage of ojakshaya cannot be tolerated for long, because it is going to be a big challenge as far as the very existence of the individual is concerned. Yannashe niyadam nashaha yasmims tishtadi tishtadi. So this kshaya, if continued, will automatically lead to a stage of nasha. Kshaya in its extreme sense or state will become nasha. And yan nashe niyadam nashaha. So something is to be done. Something is to be done. So that remedial act is explained here. Jivaniya aushadha kshira rasadhyaha tatra bheshajam. Tatra means talkshaye. Jivaniya aushadha kshira rasadhyaha. Adhyaha, it is a representative list which can be expanded to any extent according to the situation in terms of desha, kala, and many other factors. Jivaniya aushadham. Jivaniya aushadham is technically a specific group of aushadhas which everybody knows, actually, that Jivan Dhyadi, which is very famous. Jivan Dhyadi, 10 dravyas called Jivaniya Ganam. Then Kshiram. Kshiram has got such a property, as we might have discussed in one of our previous session, whether the Kshiram which we get these days can be used for this purpose. Ideally Kshiram can be used, because we find that Swadupagarasam snigdham ojasyam dhaduvardhanam. So all those properties, Swadupagarasam snigdham ojasyam dhaduvardhanam vadapittaharam vrishyam shleshmalam guru sheetalam prayapayaha, all those properties of Kshira makes it an excellent choice in this issue. Then rasam. Rasam ideally means mamsarasam. And in Jvara Chikilsa we will find balam hyalam doshaharam param tacha balapradam. This mamsarasam is considered as param balapradam. So that one also is a good choice here in ojakshaya. Jivaniya aushadha kshira rasadhyaha adhyaha. Any ahara or vihara even, and vihara contains or includes karmas, and karmas include kaya, vak, mana karma. So that kaya karmam, vak karmam, mana karmam, all these things can contribute as ojo vardhaka prayogas. So that is Jivaniya Aushadha Kshira Rasadhyaha can be a big list. Tatra Bheshajam. And when that uh, fall in the status of ojas is corrected, and the ojas starts increasing in its quantity and quality, that also shows. So that is what we find in our next line. Ojo vruddhau hi dehasya tushti pushti balodayah. Ojo vruddhau hi dehasya tushti pushti balodayah. Ojo vruddhau, when the ojas is vruddham, dehasya, as a result of that ojo vruddhi, dehasya tushtihi pushtihi balodayah. Tushti, pushti, and balodayam. Balodayam means the increase in bala. So when ojas is increased, bala is also increased. Pushti means sharira pushti. Brahmanam, brihatvam yat sharirasya. Tushti means santushti. Santushti is about the manobhava, as we were discussing earlier, which is happening on the other side of the line. It is about the manobhava. Tushti, pushti, balodaya. Whenever I read this tushti, pushti, balodaya, I always recollect the point which is explained in Roganulpadaniya. So here we find Ojo vruddhau hi dehasya tushti pushti balode. When you have tushti, when you have pushti, and your bala is udidam, having the state of increased balam, then obviously I think this will be working as the vyadhik shamatvam. And vyadhik shamatvam, as we might have discussed in many previous sessions, manifests as in two forms, that is uh, vyadhi utpadaka pradibandhagatvam and vyadhi bala virodhitvam. So two types of balas: dehasya balaha, deha balaha, and vyadhi bala. Deha bala precisely should be understood as into multiple components, like dhadu bala, agni bala, and sattva bala. And the other side there is vyadhi bala. So vyadhi bala virodhitvam, when there is deha balodayam, it gives you vyadhi bala virodhitvam. When there is vyadhi balam, it eats up your deha balam. So they are opposite forces that way. So keeping the deha balam high and also make a state of saumanasyam is very, very important. while we discuss the concept of Roga Anulpadaniya. In the general context, we find the importance of Vegas and Vegarodhajanya Vikaras, and then we find something extra related with the Roganutpadaniya concept in the chapter called Roganutpadaniya, where we find many things. It is interesting. So, as of now, we know that it is a fight between the opposite balas. On one side, it is Vyadhi bala, and the other side, it is Deha bala supported by Sattu bala. So, always in Roga Anutpadaniyam, enhancing the Deha bala and Sattva bala are going to be so crucial. And that is where we take the extra leads from the concepts of Dhadu bala, Dhadu sara, Agni bala, all those things. And in Roganutpadaniya, we find Shodhana, Rudu Shodhana as a tool for ensuring Roganutpadanam. But Rudu Shodhanam is a hectic procedure, which is a Shodhana Chikitsa, a part of Shodhana Chikitsa. So that Chikitsa itself is a bit taxing as far as the Deha Bala is concerned. Sattva Bala as well. That is why we find the Jitendriyatvam type of qualities as the best attributes of good rogis or Sukhasadhya roga lakshanas. So, further to a Ridushodhana Chikitsa, doing a proper Brahmana karma is very important to get the proper outcome of that treatment. Otherwise, you will do a Ridushodhana Chikitsa, your body will be quite weak, Deha Balam will be low, which will give an easy access for Vyadhi. When the Deha Bala is poor, obviously Vyadhi Bala gets an edge over the Deha. So in Roganutpadaniyam we find Bheshachakshapite Pathyam Aharer Brahmanam Kramad. So that Bheshachakshapita Chikitsa, Bheshachakshapitaha, not Vyadhikshapitaha. In Swastavrta, after Rudushodhana, it is not Vyadhikshapita. It is Chikilsakshapitaha. Vyadhikshapitaha, Chikilsakshapitaha. Here it is Chikilsakshapita, Bheshachakshapitaha. In that Bheshachakshapita, Bheshachakshapite Pathyam Aharer Brahmanam Kramad. There we find certain tools for that. What is that? Shali Shashtiga Godhuma Mugga Mamsa Kritadibhihi or Mugga Mamsa Rasadibhihi. Then we find Hridya Dibana Bhaishadya Samyogad Ruchi Paktidaihi. So there Agni Deepanam and Hridyam. So both sides are taken care of. Then extra interventions, Sabhyangodvartana Snana Niruha Snehavastibhihi. So that forms a perfect combination to bring the Dehabala and its allies like Agnibala, Dhadubala and Sattvabala back on track. That is very well expressed as the outcome of such an intervention. What is that? Tatha salabhade sharma sarvapavaga padavam dhivarnendriya vaimalyam vrishadam dairghyam ayushaha. Roganulpadaniya, 4th chapter, Ashtangridayam Sutrasthanam. Tatha salabhade sharma. Sharma shabdam is a Napumsakalinga shabdam which means anugraham, sukham. These are the meanings. So tatha sa labhade sharma. With this act of enhancing the deha bala, agni bala, following a proper ridushodhana, will give the sort of sukham which in disguise is becoming an anugraham. How is it becoming anugraha? By many means, like sarvapavaga padavam. Sarvapavaga padavam. Pavagam, pavakaha agni. Padavam, the functional excellence. Samarthya. So pavaga padavam. Of all pavaga, Jadharagni, Dhatwagni, Bhudagni, or further Agnis which are metaphysical. So Sarva Pavaka Padavam, Dhi, Varna, Indriya, Vaimalyam, Dhi Vaimalyam, Varna Vaimalyam, Indriya Vaimalyam. With these three words, you can come back to Ojo Kshina Lakshanas. Bibhedi, Durbalaha, Abhikshnam Dhyayadi, Vyadhidendriyaha, Duchchayaha, Durmana, Rukshaha, Bhaved Kshamascha Talkshaye. Here we find Tatha sa labhade sharma sarvapavaka padavam dhi varna indriya vaimalyam vrishadam dairghyam ayushaha. Ayushaha dairghyam cha. So ayushaha dairghyam means the maximum survival with this body, and vrishata is the tool for extending that to the next generation by healthy procreation. So I hope why once we mix or read these things together, the Ojo Kshina Lakshanas, Oja Kshaya Nidanas, Oja Kshaya Chikitsa, and Ojo Vruddhi Lakshanas, we will find, we will get another insight about the importance of the concept of Roganulpadaniyam and the role Ojas is playing in that canvas. Ojo vruddhau hi dehasya tushti pushti balodaya. So I will read those couple of shlokas once again. Oja kshiyeta kopa kshudhyana shoga shramadibhihi bibhedi durbalo abhikshnam dhyayadi vyadhidendriyaha duchchayo durmana rukshaha bhaved kshamascha talkshaye जीवनीय औषध क्षीर रसाद्यास्तत्र भेषजम् ओजो वृद्धौ हि Dehasya tushti pushti balodayaha. I hope that idea is clear. Then the type of observation that Sushruta is having in this regard may be of some interest. Number one is about the way in which Bala, we saw that Ghalu Ojaha Tadeva Balamityuchyade Swashastra Siddhantad, and what are the functional representations which can be appreciated with this Bala. That is also explained by Acharya Sushruta. Tatra Balena Sthiropachita Mamsada सर्वचेष्टासु अप्रतीघातः स्वरवर्णप्रसादः बाह्यानाम् आभ्यन्तराणां च करणानाम् आत्मकार्यप्रतिपत्तिः भवति. This also should be read along with the ojo vruddhau hi dehasya tushti pushti balodayah. Tatra balena Sushrutam Sutram 15th chapter. Tatra balena स्थिरोपचितमांसता सर्वचेष्टासु अप्रतीघातः स्वरवर्णप्रसादः बाह्यानाम् आभ्यन्तराणां च करणानां means इन्द्रियाणाम् आत्मकार्यप्रतिपत्तिः भवति. And he also notices the ways in which the ojas encounters a sort of kshaya. Abhikhadad, kshayad, kopad, shogad, dhyanad, shramad, kshuthaha, oja sankshiyade. Oja sankshiyade. So all these things are to be kept together while we try to understand the concept of ojas in Ayurveda. So with that, I think we will wind up today's session. Maybe the couple of shlokas left in this chapter we will read in our next session. Thank you very much. Sushrutam reference is asked in the chat box. It is in the 15th chapter of Sutrasthanam.
Yes, thank you very much, sir. I think these two sutras, which we covered in the previous and today's session, are utmost important and applicable in day-to-day practice. So, thank you very much for these wonderful sessions.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, Nilesh.
Yes, if there are no queries, then we can wind up our today's session and
Yes,
continue in our
yes,
next session.
exactly. Yes. Okay,
Yes.
Shubhratri.
Shubhratri, sir. Thank you.